Episode 1 aka Ladies' Night. Jessica Jones, an alcoholic private investigator gifted with superhuman strength, delivers a subpoena to strip club owner Gregory Spheris for lawyer Jerry Hogarth, who is having an affair with her assistant Pam behind the back of her wife Dr. Wendy Ross Hogarth, exposing her abilities to him in the process. While not working, Jones spies on Luke Cage, a bar owner who sees her looking into his bar and offers her free alcohol as a ladies' night promotion, leading to the two sleeping together. She leaves upset after seeing a photo of a woman in his bathroom. Jones is approached by Barbara and Bob Schlottman after their daughter Hope began acting differently and disappeared. Jones discovers that Hope is with Kilgrave, a man with mind control abilities who once controlled Jones, leaving her with PTSD, and who she believed was dead. Jones wants to flee, but is convinced by her friend and foster sister Trish Walker to help Hope. Jones finds Hope, but Kilgrave's hold is still over her, and she murders her parents. Episode 2 aka Crush Syndrome. Jones is investigated by Detective Oscar Clemens, who discovers photos she took of Cage. Jones lies to Cage that she had been hired by the husband of a woman who Cage had slept with. Cage, having not known that the woman was married, confronts the woman about it, and when she goes to her husband, he attacks Cage with a group. Jones helps fight off the men, and learns that Cage is gifted with unbreakable skin. Hogarth agrees to represent Hope if Jones can prove that Kilgrave exists. Jones remembers leaving Kilgrave to die after he was hit by a bus, and now tracks down the ambulance driver who had picked him up. The driver had donated both his kidneys to Kilgrave, and is now on dialysis. Jones finds the operating doctor who anonymously donated the dialysis machine. He agrees to testify for Hope, and reveals that he operated on Kilgrave without anesthesia since that would have blocked Kilgrave's abilities. When Hogarth meets with Hope, the latter reveals that Jones was once under Kilgrave's control as well. Episode 3 aka It's Called Whiskey. Jones and Cage bond over their mutual powers, while Jones also tracks down a surgical-grade anesthetic to subdue Kilgrave with. Hogarth, now divorcing Wendy, who discovered the affair, and unwilling to risk herself and her reputation despite Carada's testimony, arranges for Walker to interview Hope about Kilgrave live on her radio talk show. Walker asks that anyone who believes they have been approached or controlled by Kilgrave contact Hogarth, and then publicly insults Kilgrave on air. Angered, Kilgrave sends Police Sergeant Will Simpson to kill Walker, with Jones having to use the anesthetic on Walker to convince Simpson that he has carried out his orders. Jones follows Simpson back to Kilgrave, who orders Simpson to walk off a balcony. Jones again convinces Simpson that he has carried out this order by knocking him out and taking him to the street below, telling him as he wakes that she caught him. Searching through the house that Kilgrave was occupying, Jones discovers a room full of photographs of her. Episode 4 aka 99 Friends. Jones accepts a case from jewelry designer Audrey Eastman, who seeks evidence of her husband cheating. Jones tracks Eastman's husband to a rendezvous with his girlfriend only to discover a trap set by Eastman, who blames gifted people for the death of her mother during the incident, and who learned of Jones' powers from Spheris. Angered as she recalls the death of her own parents, Jones convinces the Eastmans to leave her alone with a show of her power and a bluff over the number of other gifted in the city. Hogarth and Jones process a large number of people claiming to have been controlled by Kilgrave, forming a support group for those legitimately affected by him. Simpson attempts to apologize to a frightened Walker over his action while under Kilgrave's control. They eventually bond over the experience. Jones uses surveillance footage provided by Simpson and clues offered by the Kilgrave support group to learn that the photographer spying on her for Kilgrave is her drug-addicted neighbor Malcolm Ducasse. Episode 5 aka The Sandwich Saved Me. Jones recalls her brief time as a superhero as she debates whether to save Ducasse or to use him as a means of locating Kilgrave. Walker and Simpson begin a romantic relationship, with Jones grudgingly allowing him to assist in a plot to capture Kilgrave. Simpson supplies Special Operations skills and contacts, including access to a hermetically sealed room in which Kilgrave could be kept once the effects of the anesthetic wear off. They follow Ducasse to his daily meeting with Kilgrave, where photographs of Jones are exchanged for drugs, which Kilgrave had forced Ducasse to become addicted to so he would obey Kilgrave even after his powers wore off. After around 12 hours of no contact, Simpson shoots Kilgrave with the anesthetic. Jones refuses to let him kill Kilgrave so he can be used to prove Schlottman innocent. Jones gets Kilgrave to Walker and the getaway car, but they are attacked by hired bodyguards who escape with the unconscious Kilgrave. Jones then resolves to help Ducasse overcome his addiction. Episode 6 aka You're a Winner. Kilgrave uses his powers to win a poker game, and spends his winnings to purchase Jones's childhood home. After paying a fellow inmate to beat her, Schlottman confesses to Jones that she is pregnant with Kilgrave's child and has been trying to miscarry. Jones gives her an abortion pill. Cage hires Jones to help find the brother of someone, who is evidence on the death of Cage's wife Reva Connors. Connors had left Cage instructions to find a box she had hidden, but it was not there when he looked. Jones recalls Kilgrave having Connors lead them to the box, with Jones digging it up before killing Connors. Jones and Cage find the missing brother, and are given the file of the bus driver that accidentally hit Kilgrave, and who Cage believes hit Connors. Seeing that the driver had been drunk, Cage seeks revenge. Jones intervenes and confesses that Kilgrave forced her to kill Connors. Cage leaves, unable to forgive her for hiding the truth and instigating an intimate relationship with him. Episode 7 aka Top Shelf Perverts. A drunk Jones, having been asked by Hogarth to convince Wendy to sign divorce papers, accosts Wendy in a subway and almost kills her. Wendy refuses to sign the papers. Ducasse helps Jones back to her apartment, where they find her neighbor Ruben, dead. Knowingly blaming Kilgrave, Jones devises a desperate plan, get herself imprisoned in a supermax prison so when Kilgrave inevitably comes for her, his abilities will be caught on camera. Dukas disposes of Ruben's body, though Jones finds him. Enacting her plan, Jones goes to a police station with Ruben's severed head and confesses to his murder. Her processing is interrupted when Kilgrave takes control of the station and declares his love for Jones, as she was the first person to resist him. He invites her home, and Simpson later watches as Jones voluntarily enters the house with Kilgrave. Episode 8 aka WWJD. Jones spends several days living with Kilgrave. Though he takes her phone so she cannot record him, she secretly gets Simpsons when she catches him sneaking into the house to plant a bomb. Not willing to let Kilgrave die until Schlottman is free, Jones tells Kilgrave about the bomb. Kilgrave, in an effort to prove that his nature was forced upon him, shows Jones a pendrive, which Connors had hidden in the box, containing footage of his parents experimenting on him as a child, and him eventually stopping them by his command. Jones shows Kilgrave that he can do good with his powers by convincing him to save several people. He visits Walker and asks whether she should stay with Kilgrave and try to use his abilities to change the world for good. Jones, knowing that Kilgrave will harm some of his servants if she does not return, goes back to Kilgrave. She instead uses a distraction to incapacitate him, and flies away with him. Then, Simpson is seriously injured by his own bomb, which Kilgrave left for him. Episode 9 aka Sin Bin. Walker races Simpson to the hospital, where he insists on seeing a Dr. Miklos Kozlov from his days as an army sergeant. Kozlov gives him some pills, and his injuries heal miraculously. Jones imprisons Kilgrave in the hermetically sealed room, where she plans to torture him until he reveals his abilities on camera. Hogarth warns her that this would forfeit their case in court, and that the DA has offered a 20-year plea deal to Schlottman if she pleads guilty. Jones convinces Schlottman to not take the deal, and devises a new plan. From the footage of Kilgrave's experiments, Jones discovers the names of his parents, Louise and Albert Thompson, and from photographs realizes that his mother is a member of the support group. Jones confronts her and Albert, and convinces them to face their son. Jones also forces Clemens to act as a witness. In the cell, Kilgrave is remorseful, but Louise attempts to kill him to stop him from hurting anyone again, and he makes her kill herself. Jones saves Albert from a similar fate, but Kilgrave escapes. Episode 10 aka 1000 Cuts. Kilgrave forces Hogarth to take him to a doctor. She goes to Wendy, hoping Kilgrave will force her to sign their divorce papers, but Kilgrave instead orders Wendy to kill Hogarth with 1,000 cuts as revenge. Tom arrives, and accidentally kills Wendy to stop her by hitting her in the head with a vase. Thompson reveals that Kilgrave's abilities are a virus that he releases, and that a vaccine could be created from Jones's blood as Jones appears to have become immune to Kilgrave's influence. Thompson, under the influence of Kozlov's drugs, that enhance combat performance and numb pain, arrives at the cell, where Clemens is guarding the evidence needed to imprison Kilgrave. But on killing Kilgrave instead, Simpson kills Clemens and destroys the evidence. Finds Walker with Thompson, who is unsuccessful in creating the vaccine, but she sends Simpson away when she sees how unstable he is, managing to take some of his pills from him in the process. Kilgrave gets Schlottman released from prison and trades her for his father. Schlottman kills herself, freeing Jones to kill Kilgrave. Episode 11 aka I've Got the Blues. Jones remembers waking up after a car accident as the sole surviving member of her family and being adopted by the Walkers in a publicity stunt by Trisha's abusive adoptive mother, to help bolster Trisha's fame as the star of child television program Patsy. Now, Jones covers up Schlottman's death and Kilgrave's involvement in it, and begins searching morgues for Thompson's body as a lead. Find Clemens' body and deduces that Simpson killed him rather than Kilgrave. She agrees to meet with Simpson, and he attacks her in her apartment, overpowering the injured Jones. Walker arrives and uses Simpson's pills to help Jones defeat him. Not used to the pills, Walker requires medical attention. She recovers in the hospital. Kozlov retrieves the unconscious Simpson from Jones's apartment, and Kilgrave warns Jones that he has found Cage. Jones finds Cage herself, in time to see his bar explode with him inside. Episode 12 aka Take a Bloody Number. Cage survives the explosion, and reveals to Jones that he was ordered by Kilgrave to destroy his bar. Walker learns that Kozlov works for IGH, a company that also paid for Jones's medical bills after her childhood car accident, and potentially played a part in her gaining abilities. After Cage recounts the events leading up to the explosion, in which she followed Jones to confront Kilgrave, they realize that Kilgrave is keeping Thompson alive to try and boost his abilities, and maybe testing his increasing hold over people. They investigate. Cage forgives Jones for her role in Connor's death, and the two begin to grow close again. Find a nightclub where Kilgrave tested his enhanced powers, and are confronted by him there. Reveals that he has been controlling Cage the whole time, having made him forgive Jones to earn her trust, and now unleashes Cage on Jones, escaping while they fight. Police soon arrive and are overpowered by Cage, but Jones manages to shoot him in the head with one of their shotguns at point-blank range. Episode 13 aka Smile. Cage unconscious and requiring medical attention, Nurse Claire Temple, who has previous experience treating gifted individuals, agrees to look after him while Jones tracks down Kilgrave, who is unsatisfied with Thompson's efforts to increase his abilities so far. Thompson has been using the fetal remains that Hogarth kept, and believes that a full dose of his extracted drug could now make Kilgrave powerful enough to control Jones. In Cage's phone, Jones tracks Kilgrave to the apartment of a wealthy couple, whom he has enslaved, in time to see Thompson die. Jones confronts Kilgrave at the couple's yacht, where he takes Walker hostage. Jones allows this. Kilgrave believes that he finally has control over her again. However, when he tells her to say I love you, Jones says it to Walker instead, and snaps Kilgrave's neck. Jones is arrested for the murder, but Hogarth secures her release, leaving her to get calls from people around the city who have heard of her heroics and seek her assistance.